Hi there. All right. As the cat decides to jump down, we can pretty much begin. I mean, does what it says on the tin. We're going to make a crossword. I have various softwares which are available in case any of this interests you to try on your own afterward. But as it stands, we're just going to go all the way through the process and just see what comes of it. So anyway, to the design lab. Oh yeah, you like that, don't you? Alright, so if you actually chat, it will show up there. Because input from you will be important. I will be consulting you as we do this. So first things first, if you have any ideas for themes or jokes or wordplay of any sort that you'd like to work on, that's the first part. You have to actually have an idea of something that would be funny as a set of crossword clues. I have a backup one, but that's the first part. Ta-da. See? It works. The privacy barrier is because I had to use a display capture window, so just in case. There's nothing there right now, but we'll put stuff there as we actually start working on stuff. See? Alright. Well, since nobody's being particularly forthcoming, at least not right now, we could always just move back and start if some bolt of inspiration strikes somebody else. Like I said earlier, I have a backup theme that we can use because an editor that I tried to submit it to told me that it was too obscure. So there will be a number of things that we're going to cover, at least as far as my minimal experience so far, being rejected with ample praise in the sense that I should probably keep trying, and I'm waiting to actually hear back from somebody. So we'll find out what happens when they get back from Vietnam, but, that's how it is. Alright, so we have here the scratch pad, in which I have a set of notes, and obviously I can change what's in there freely. I have monotype space because that'll just help keep track of everything. And that is what I think we should use as a template theme. Because again, I know it's not going to sell, so it's not like I'm throwing things out. Because one of the things you might not know is they will only buy puzzles if they've not been made public in any way. So if you've published it somewhere for free or shared it with people, and then you try to sell it and they find out, then they're not going to buy it. And we can talk about the rates and everything and all that other stuff as we go, if any of that is even remotely interesting to you. So with that said, we're pretty much ready to start. And again, if somebody thinks of something funny or dumb or whatever that we can use and will probably not be worth selling, again, we can work that out. But this will be our standby theme clues. So obviously the joke here is that E3 is the video game conference. I came up with this in like May, and when I pitched it, I said I could have this done in time for you to run it while it's happening, which would have been interesting, but he didn't know what it was, which is weird because whatever. Anyway, obviously the joke is that all the clues have 3 E's in a row. There's the E3 Expo, where the 2 E's are there. There's free energy, which, and Lee Enfield, which is a Civil War rifle model make, and it's the example like you would the textbook, something you would see in a textbook. All right then. So if nobody else has any suggestions, that's where we'll start. All right, privacy barrier off, and we will meet the first of our programs. This is Crossword Compiler 10. It is, I think the demo lasts for about a month, but like a private license is maybe like, I think maybe like $80. It's not that bad. And you'll see what, because again, like with the free one, you can make whatever you want, but you can't save or anything. So as time went on, it was worth it for me to just pay for the license. So start, drag this over, because usually it starts in the middle of the screen. Obviously, I'm not showing you my whole setup because I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I can see, and I don't have two monitors. But anyway, so we have a couple of options that they give, and this software can handle multiple things, but we're going to go with the American style. Cryptic is what they use in England and Australia, I think, and it's a whole different story. The clues are all very different. You can see that there aren't, like, there's a lot more black space and places where the words don't cross. It's, again, a whole different thing. All right, so we have the dimensions. Most normally, most that you see are usually 15 by 15, and stuff on Sundays like the Times is 21 by 21. So we're going to do 15 by 15. They have a whole bunch of templates, which you can use. No one really cares too much about these, and it's not a real big deal if you recycle them, but chances are they're not going to, you're probably going to be making changes to whatever template you start with anyway. So with that said, now we have to start actually thinking about the rules of construction, as you can see in the guideline zone. So the best thing to do is, obviously for us, we should probably just pick design the grid myself. So here we go. So as you may or may not know, grids are generally expected to have rotational symmetry. So rather than actually say rotational, it just says normal. So if I have one 3 down, 3 right, it's, well, this one, this one, this one, and after a while you get a sense of where the center is. So what we have is we have 4 clues that we're going to try to fit in symmetrical locations that are all 10 long. So generally, and so just something you learn as time goes on, is that basically anything you have in the first 3 or last 3 rows or columns has to bridge down, because look, if I have something here, that's a 2-letter word. So the only thing I can do if I want to block here is to connect it all the way to the end, and then that cuts everything off. And usually with this one, you'll usually get 2 cuts on each side and then some extra fill in the middle. And you can fit 3 in if you want to do like that. But again, that's starting to really get a limit on things. And we want to try to leave enough space that we're not going to have too many words, because again, we're not really sure. So I just like leaving one in the middle just so we can see what's going on. And we have to think about where we're going to put stuff that we'll be able to really work around. So I'm thinking in this row, in this row, in this row, and in this row. So we also have to do a little bit of math, and we know that a 10-letter word, a 10-letter phrase or word or clue or whatever you want to call it at this point, is going to use up 10 squares. So we then have to divide it in some way if we want to use the rest of the space. So that would leave us with 4 squares remaining. So chances are, if we wanted to do something, we would have the word parked all the way to the right or all the way to the left, cut it off at the 10th letter, and then have 4 more. Again, we could do the other ones the same way, but obviously their counterparts will be down here. And just to minimize the amount of stuff that we're going to have to make overlap between the 2 words, generally if you start on the left, the next one will be coming from the right. So, and again, there's things like as you're reading the across clues, we want to kind of work our way through, and usually the revealer is either dead center, which it's not going to be this time, or it's the last one. So E3 Expo. So we're already in an interesting position where the X here is going to cause some problems. So, because it's not a common letter. So at best, well, first off, this has to go like that, because it's in the first and last 3. And we want to have to create something that, when we can't block off something so the X is the last letter, because then that creates these 2s over here. So the best thing I think to do for now is to put stuff here. And then we can arrange the other three kind of in whatever order we want. We might have to move them around later, but let's just put them in. Free energy, Lee, infield, C, example. Alright, so I already don't like this because I've got the same problem showing up again with this X. If I had somewhere else I could put it, I could make that the last letter of whatever I'm doing. So if I put it up here, for example, C, example, I moved Lee Enfield down here. Then I can put a square here to work off of it. Interesting. So let's say it's the fifth letter. And again, this is all just, again, a lot of this is just trial and error to begin with. Let me introduce you to my other companion called QXW. It's pretty much the same thing, but interestingly enough, they have a feasible characters list as you move. So basically the kind of give and take is between this one is it's going to look kind of breadth first. So a lot of words start with S. A lot of words end with S. It's got like a very broad sense of probability of what might fit where. And you kind of work with that. This one, when we start trying to do automatic fill, will be depth first. Alright, so let's see. Well, right now we have something that's blank, blank, Y, blank, blank, X. And that's kind of terrible. Yeah, I mean, we could use the word skybox if we really wanted to. Yes, shrink that to a visible size. So again, auto-find will give you a list of words that are viable for what you have. Toy box is interesting. But then again, that means we're going to have another word that's going to end in an O, which, you know, not great. All right. Let's try it for now, just to kind of get an idea of how things go. So let's see. If we have this one where these two meet, that would correspond to this one where, look, there's a lot more words that are 6 letters long, start with an F, and have an E in the 4th position. That's what you want. You want more options. And 6-letter words that end in O, it's not bad. And, you know, they have some things that are constructs like make, do, and so on and so on. So really, it basically just, the first part of it comes down to kind of predicting where you want to make your cutoffs, and from there, you kind of just do the rest. So let's see. We could, well, if we move this one down, if we move this one over, that might help, because then we can do this here and kind of have a cutoff point. So everything that fills up here won't have any effect really here. So having those little pinch points can help with kind of working your way through things, at least to start. Right. So I have to put these 3 here because then this creates this little nook here. Some people like that, some people don't. Depends. Not really a big deal either way for now. Right. So again, as you move on, as you move through everything, eventually you'll realize kind of how things work. So if we wanted to do this, we could. Then this has a little pinch point here for what we need. And we can kind of look at what we're looking at so far by going to the words and word statistics. So in general, we have 68 words right now. So we're already kind of creeping up on the point where we would want to stop putting in bricks and see if what we have is fillable. So let's see, we have 2 things that are still 15 long, so we're going to want to cut those up. We have these 11s we're probably going to want to cut. We have the 4 10s, which are what we want. And we have some stuff to cut here. And we can't cut the 15s and the 9s at the same time, unfortunately. We could put a cut in those 8s, but they're probably better. I think for now we're probably better off because I think they're not really too complicated at the moment. And obviously we don't have any 2s, and we don't have any things that are non-interlocking, which is what you want. And also it'll be nice and keep track of the letters that we have used so far, including the frequencies. And then we have things where it'll check to make sure that the words we've used are not recycling stuff. Of course, in our case, they're going to recycle the E's, because that's the whole idea. So this one has 3 E's and an X, this one has 3 E's and an X, but we know we're okay. And obviously, as you fill it in, this will be the list of the words that you've ended up using. These all have nothing in them right now. And then we have some, and then we have the ones we filled. All right, so we want to cut off these two, and we want to put them somewhere where they'll help. So probably the best place would be here. 3-letter words that end in G and 3-letter words that start with T, there's plenty of them. So let's see, that puts us at 72. So that means we can probably put one more down to help cut up, and then we can either stop or just have an extension somewhere that'll put us at 78, which will be what we want. And obviously we're being very optimistic here about everything working the first time out, because very often it does not. So you got a lot of 4s, not too many 3s, which is good. You don't want too many of them. We can make some cuts here, and we can probably get away with it. Like if we put one here, that's fine. You got a 4 and a 3, a few more 3s. And again, that kind of cuts things around. Nothing we can really do in these zones for the most part. Yeah, it's interesting. And again, some of it's just a kind of how you feel. We could put a little. We could make them cut here in the middle. Well, no, we can't, because that'd be a 2. We couldn't do that. Can't cut this anywhere, because if it's 6 long, you can't cut it, because you'll get a 2 and a 3, because you're subtracting the one that you're taking away. Let's see. Let's try it with 76. So, the important thing that this software does, that it's the reason that you would bother to pay for it, is a function called autofill. So, it could not fill the grid as is. So here's the thing. One of the major things about you making a crossword is that it basically, if you're trying to do this with software, the dictionary that you're using is going to be the major determining thing of how well or how badly you're going to fill. So I had this one that was offered for free from somebody I just checked up. So let's see if his works. Great. So we know that we're like not completely off the map here. Obviously there are going to be a whole bunch of words that we don't want because they're terrible. Because, again, I haven't gone through his list and taken out everything that I would never use, or put in everything that I would put in things that he might not know. But we have at least something that would result in some answers. So we're not in terrible shape. The whole toy box thing here is probably messing with us at least a little bit. Mostly just because of the O. Because again, you have to kind of think about where the things you put end up. And obviously these little nooks here aren't going to cause too many problems. And again, because we're doing the autofill, as you notice, the autofill doesn't really worry about them right now because there's nothing in this zone is going to affect anything in here, except for maybe reduce the number of words we have to use from. Well, let's see. It's not terrible. Kind of again, this is the part where if you're super lazy, you would just throw this in and just go right to writing clues. But let's not do that, because that's kind of not good. So let's see. Sell a corridor, the trains. Abatis does not strike me as something that I would know immediately. Amini, not really. D-lines is kind of weird. ETDS or ETDs, don't like it. Gorzier, because again, at first it all looks okay, but it's not great. And obviously, as you move through, you'll have other options that show up. So again, I could kind of button through this, but it would take a long time. So let's not do that. And just kind of know that we're at least in an okay position for now. That we'll probably want to change at least a couple of things later. We could take on these for right now if we're going to not move anything particularly. Because again, this has a lot less that can happen in here. You have axle like the wheels of a truck. We can have AXEL. You know, we have options. And again, however seriously you wanted to take it would be however seriously you wanted to go over it. And dodo birds. And again, they have other options with the filling. Like I can refill from the beginning, so I'm not using any of the same letters. Or the only thing I don't like about this is that it doesn't tell me what word I'm starting from, or what the start position is when it tries to do the flood fill, essentially, of the rest of the letters. Obviously, I have a bunch of options right now, but again, I would never spell anything. I would never spell cream soda this way. I would never use that. So I don't want that. Princess with an extra S, no thank you. Last call, I don't know what that is. Right, so again, the default list is a little lacking, just kind of on modern lingo and things like that, and that's the one that comes with. But you can add dictionaries to any as much as you want, as long as you have the word list manager open. I can make a new one, I can import, I can export, I can do whatever I want, basically. Oh, I forgot we could actually listen to music while we're doing this. There we go. So, let's see. No. Not really. Sometimes Diner's interesting, we can see, but Genius IQ, I don't really like on the QT then. Again, it'll try to do things where it'll try to give you those rare letters that you probably have a harder time getting in, but you know. Well, this one wasn't too bad, but so let's just accept it for now, and then we can make cuts. We can just kind of make cuts around any of the words we don't like. Nah. Well, okay. So we're leaving that at least. But as you can see, the word list that we have is now much more full. It's still blanks, obviously, where we didn't put anything. And one of the few other things I don't like about this word list is that everything is kept in all caps. So we're going to have to work with that later. But let's see what we've got and what we don't want. So we don't want that. You can just go, well, hey all is kind of, let's see, bad areas is not going to change. We don't like this. We don't like this. I know it's down here where we don't really need anything particular. If we accept this, we can redo this whole zone later. We don't really care about this area too much. AMG. I'm trying to think what AMG is off the top of my head. Is that the bowling alleys? Not really crazy about it. F flat. Well, I don't like Lardier, so let's leave that alone. Make sure we put the letters back in the other things. I think if we were really concerned about everything, we can highlight and lock these in. Alt enter. And again, you can do interesting stuff where, let's see, like if we wanted to change the color of everything, that'd be fine, but let's just lock them in place. So they make them bold, and now if we accidentally delete everything, those letters will stay where they belong. Undo, undo. So, Xena, no. XDAS, no. Again, kind of cutting through some stuff. No ear wasn't really that great. Saint Laurent, nah. Tire, not really tied to. Earn is one of those crosswordy words that we don't really want ever. Don't worry about that too much. Don't worry about that. Sex me, no thank you. Alright, because again, we just a little bits of stuff that we might want to keep are fine. Like F flat is fine. LMO isn't too bad, but even if we don't really like A and G too much. Leaving an A there is not a big deal. Might help later. Probably attach to that. That area is not too bad. Don't really need those too badly. But again, just a little bits where we've got some kind of restriction on the areas helps. I don't know how restricted. Yeah, see, they're still kind of all bleeding through for the most part. But we cut this area off at least. So let's see what, again, some of it is just kind of holding the right arrow and seeing what shows up. Of course, the thing is it's going to work through depth first and go through everything that's up here. So the best thing to do in this case for me is I'm going to turn the symmetry off just for a second. And in addition to filling in the blocks, you can also, because there are other styles of crossword, fill in the lines. So by doing this, it's not going to care about anything up there at all. And this letter will essentially be by itself. And these two aren't going to try to make a word because I'm cutting them off from each other. So now when I autofill, nothing there, doesn't care. So now we kind of basically just have this plus shape to worry about. WGBH, I think, is... I mean, I remember seeing it sometimes on PBS shows. I think they produced some of the old ones. The T, no. Harriet's interesting. F that, that's kind of funny, but Argo I couldn't tell you anything about. Alright, so a lot of it's coming from the left side first. Here Kitty's not bad with Keynes. Doesn't seem too terrible. So we'll see if anything. WeTV is at least a station that that I'm aware of. The words coming down aren't that great. Oh, one more thing before we do that. We can get rid of... we don't really care about these too much. Because ESE, if you wanted to do like a, say it's essay, it's fine, but chances are you'd probably include that as like as a compass direction. So try as I may. Let's see if we can get anything good with Here Kitty, because we liked it. It seemed like it was conducive, at least. Just kind of working your way through. So it really wants there to be an S there. All round, leached. We might have to give up Goatsy, I'm afraid. That's free from the beginning rather than... Let's see. I don't know what an ant bear is. $1. Just kind of move back through some of the stuff we were looking at. Nah. E-Train? No, I'm okay with E-Train. Having something start with all and then an A is probably pretty common. Yeah, I think the best thing to do would be... Well, I don't want that. We're getting rid of that. Oh, sorry. That's backspace, not delete. I'm sorry, delete, not backspace. All right. Fine. Fantasia, that's fine. Again, we could fill in one letter at a time. So if we wanted to have a ESP, like Mind Stuff and Spa, we can leave that S there, and that'll help kind of close things out. E-Train's not bad. Not a fan of any of those. I'll let Goatsy go for now. thought it was interesting, but I don't really think we're going to get anything good for LE blank blanky, because as you can see, there aren't too many that are pretty common, at least. I think they were trying to go with LEDEE, which, I don't know. SWAT at, like a fly, I guess, maybe. Meson with 2 N's, no thanks. Starting with ABA, there isn't too much, but we'll see. So cut that there. Don't need this. I don't know what. There's nothing with an NFE. No, and no. Yeah, there's plenty of words, but it's probably trying to gravitate towards freeze because it's like, ooh, I can get a Z in there. So one of the other things is some word lists have scores and some don't. So for example, the default one, pretty much most words that it's like, I don't really want to use "ing" ever, so it's kind of worth 25 points. And again, I didn't write any of these. These were provided for me. Obviously, I made a couple of my own, like nothing was called "goddammit." I kind of compiled that one myself. But it's going to try to, when it goes through everything, it's generally going to do what it can to maximize the score. So, 95 South, only worth 53 points. I don't know. If you wanted to include numbers, you could include them, but, it's going to try to avoid those, I would assume, most often. And usually it's not going to work out for you. A lot of 50s, and then some that this guy decided, oh, this is worth more. I like this because it's got a Z in it, or whatever. Or, well, I don't know what an uzzle is. I wouldn't want that one to show up ever. But again, if I really wanted, I could go through and just chop all... if I really wanted to go through word by word of 500,000 words, I could do it. But I don't really feel like that. I actually started going through the default list, which is a little better. 100,000 I tried to kind of start going through myself. I got to the D. I think I got to the DIS before I got, absolutely sick of it. Couldn't take it. So, let's see. But anyway. Story time over. ST is a good thing, is good. So we should probably leave this as is. Ending in an AR is not great, but, it's fine. I don't really care about slot right now. It's probably still going to fill out all over the place, but yeah. Let's see what we get. Yeah, Keenly works a little bit better. Even though Henry V is not my favorite thing ever, it's not that bad. As the over here on the left side is okay. Alright, so let's see. If there's anything else we want to keep right now, we can. Or we could pass it over to QXW, which I'll show you in action next. I don't like SSPE. Let's do a couple of refills from the beginning. So that means there's nothing else. So there's one word in here that's the only word that it knows that'll fit with where it is. But the problem is I don't know what that is because I don't know where it started from, technically. I mean, again, I would imagine this list has Toy Box in it, but might not. You never know. In which case, it's like, oh, there's nothing else you can put for blank blank YBOX. Okay. Well, let's start off. Let's show off QXW a little bit. Works a bit different. So, first things first, we have to reconstruct the grid. Which, this program uses insert to put the blocks down. This one uses space. So, have that cut there. 1, 2, 3. And again, it knows what the symmetry is supposed to be, which, is nice. You can turn it off if you want. This one has a lot of different options for stuff you can make. So if I really wanted to do a brand new one, it's tons of stuff. Any size, bunch of stuff. Grid properties. So we have plain rectangular, we have hexagonal, circular. This one can handle a whole bunch of stuff, but we're not going to bother with any of those, at least not today. And insert, insert. And we have this one that's one diagonal down. And then we have this that's 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's correct. And we'll put in the words we have so far. Free energy. See example. And already we've got some red going, which is what we want to see. The end field and E3 Expo. So again, it doesn't know what E3 Expo is, so it immediately says, there's nothing I know that can fill this grid. But when I put the O down, it's like, oh, that's what you want to go with? Sure, whatever. So, biotapestry. But this, see again, this one comes with its own word list. And I haven't had a great success figuring out how to add the additional dictionaries. It never seems to take. So, I just kind of go with what I got. So, let's put... So if we put box, it'll say, oh, you must mean hey box, because that's the only word I know that goes there. But if I put skybox, it'll start working off of the word sky. So this box basically says, all right, these are the letters I think can go here. Probably going to be an A. Could be a U. Maybe a Y, but I doubt it. So let's see. 8 days a week? Maybe. Let's see if it knows anything. What do we have up here? Well, we can put basically any consonant we want there for the most part. Let's worry about this. See, again, this is where you start running into stuff. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I put terrier. I'm going to have something that starts with an I, but, you know, it's not great. Like ower. I guess. So here we were, based on the fact that the way this word is set up, we probably want to have a vowel here. Let's see what we get with E. So, E doesn't work there. Yeah, I put an E there, immediately it's like, I don't know what the heck you want. I give up. A. I can, A, it's like, okay. Serapes. Maybe. Or aerates is interesting, because that'll give us an A there. We can have consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant, that, so it's a plural of something. So, let's go aerates. It's not bad. This will be interesting, because there's, you know, there aren't a lot of words where you have a vowel and an E, so you have to have two consonants here. So it'll probably be an R, or maybe a W. But R gives me a lot more options. And, you know, trod, Tron, you know, Trod, Tron the movie, Trot, Helen of Troy, you know. So what we've got, let's see what we've got that ends in A. Again, we have everything we still have down here, but, you know, we can handle that as we will. Obviously, we're not going to keep the here kitty because there's an S here now. So let's thinking about the fact that there's an S there. We don't really put an H there. T is probably the best bet. So how about retail? There's a lot of stuff that starts with A, and it's an okay place for an I. Words starting with E, not a lot. I'm sure this won't work because like it's not gonna like that and the G. It's probably gonna go. Bleh. Oh, not bad. Fantasias. So again, so it's like, okay, I've run out of things I know that go there. So again, IAST is not great. There's nothing I can think of that I really want there. But it knows that these are the last things, these are the last options I have in this zone. So let's look at this one first. Fantasia, phantasms. Doesn't know anything. Panel saw. So we can kind of go back and see what else we've got with our other dictionaries. If we walk our way back from here, we'll see what we've got. Canvases would fit, but then that's going to put that V there, which is not going to be great. That would have to be like Uvea or something. There aren't a lot of four-letter words that go blank V, blank A. So I really don't want that. Mantissa, that's a math term, I know at least. Yeah, it's a lot of just kind of rifling through libraries and just seeing what comes up where. Fan bases? That's not bad. You know, well, I mean, there's a SB isn't going to be great, but we can kind of not worry about those. If I put a B there, that's probably not going to be great. Something B, something A is probably going to be nothing. And yeah, so again, the A here is kind of messing with us a little bit at least. We could do anything. But it doesn't know any way to put something here. Let's see if we have any better luck if we switch back to Toy Box. Nope. And you don't want to really do too much where you have the word letter A as the word A. Not great. Yeah, a week isn't too bad. So I'll probably just leave it there for now. The R isn't that bad. I don't think it's going to get anything. Oh, it's a little more forgiving, but we still have a problem with the A being there, which is the one thing you're trying to fix in the first place. Arrow. Fairies. We'll be okay, because again, if you do like a consonant blend here, like F, T, or something, TEG is not great, but you know, we'll have options depending on what we pick. Like if we had N and D, that would be all right. Yeah. So let's see. Based on this, yeah. So with this one's dictionary, it also knows something, but this one's dictionary is also kind of terrible. Because again, like I don't like what a windstone is probably some terrible British thing that I couldn't tell you. So, again, basically this is kind of how it goes. It's a lot of trial and error. Merrier. I'm not great with that. Nah, I don't like that. I don't think where it's going. This seems to be our biggest thing of what we're going to have to work with. So if we accept that it's an F there, we're going to work without Mount Etna. We probably want this one to be Owen, because at least that's a name we can think of. And kind of, again, you kind of do a lot of going back and forth between the same things over and over again. All right. But again, the I is what's causing a lot of problems. If we switch to phantasms, see, I don't know why that's so unhappy, because at least here, You have stuff that you have plenty of stuff that ends in the word most. Or needs, well, like innermost would probably be something you could work with, at least to an extent. But again, that does run into EO. Hmm. Hmm. That wouldn't be an E anymore if we switched where these two were. Because again, we can kind of move back and forth and do whatever we want. We can add boxes, subtract boxes, move stuff. Because we're at 76 right now. So if we wanted to like extend one of these out somewhere where it wouldn't cut into anything, we could. Like if I wanted to put something there, I think that would still put us at 78. And it's not going to cut too much into anything else. So in fact, let's do that and see what happens. So we're going to cut all this away. Skybox, Fantasia, or Phantasm. We'll go with Phantasms this time. Yeah, see, I don't know what would go there. This is causing a lot of problems for us. Well, we want something where it's going to be E and then another one. So, like, Euclid would be okay. I'm not going to have anything that's EO or E. Eats in, maybe. Again, Peter Broda's list is pretty good for at least fun. Like, eats it. E's in. E's in would probably be not terrible. Yeah, let's do that. E's in. Because again, there are things that this one's dictionary just doesn't have. But this gives us a lot of other places we can go. Leg, again, so this one, I'd probably do foals rather than go too quickly onto names. EE. Again, EEP isn't really anything. We could do like LGA and EEG. Eek and ska. It's not terrible, but it's alright. Again, there are words you're going to start seeing a lot, or getting a lot of use out of as time goes on. Alright, so. So we've got RL, M, and DV. There are things we can do with that, probably. Or we can kind of take a quick break and move it back over to here. Poles, weak, Etna, ska, TR, mast. And let's just double check our grid stats just so we're still working with something valid. Should be. Yeah, 77. Yeah. Oh, well, I thought I gotta take these off real quick. I guess we are at 77. Oh, because we turned symmetry off, right. 78, there we go. It's basically impossible. Because of the symmetry of the way symmetry works, you can't really ever have an odd number of words. So, let's just turn the symmetry back on. Just so we don't do that again. Okay, so that's all pretty good. Ease in. Alright, so, you get what you get. IBM PC Junior and cat piss. I'm not exactly over the moon over. So if I make a cut here, it'll keep that cut down here, which is probably better in the long run. 7 S's in a row. No thanks. And again, you get a lot of stuff that's going to shoot up over there, so you're going to cycle through all those. You do want at least something. Let's see what was going on with Aaron and Run Cold. Nah, because he got the AAN is not great. Let's see if we can start with a vowel here. E-tail, AOL mail, Mr. Moon. We got these. It's not great. IR, blank, 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 blank. Not super. Again, it's kind of just kind of looking for stuff that you'd want to keep as you move through everything. This key's interesting. That's pretty relevant and recent. It seems like it'd be good for structurally, because T is not a terrible letter. And it's starting with an S, starting with a K. Could probably work off of that. Let's just put that in and see what we get. Her album last year was very good. Yeah, I don't like cat piss. Either in the grid or in general. Alright, so it's whatever it's working off of is probably over here. VOC and Sonnet. I only, well, YC is a problem. I think the better thing to do, as far as turning things on or off, might be to turn it all the way here, because then I don't really have to worry about what's coming down off of it. But it knows it has to at least keep a certain length that way. And I'm getting different things, which is good. Yeah, or it's not a thing. So let's just think. What would, like, enact maybe would go there, and then you have 2 T's. Let's try it. See, because you can get things like outtake. It's pretty decent. Elon is good. Undo send. Not great, but not terrible. Because you can do UND and then ER something if you wanted to keep outtake, which might be good. If we put outtake here, that would cut off this zone, so we can now approach this zone, this up here, kind of as we wanted. See? So that's the only thing it knows, so not happy about that. Doesn't like that. And ending with the I is kind of not great. I think I might go back to this just because. Horn. Psalm. Not really. Yeah, it's not the most thrill-a-minute thing, but at least you're kind of seeing how the sausage is made. Matter. Maybe. Yeah, you kind of run out of places to put. Well, let's see. Yeah, the LK is what you start running into, really. So, likes and dislikes, you know. Calyx is not great. Craig and Ejesk you don't really like. Prado, My Time, maybe. But then what's Lean? Alina? No, so I think you could use this like cornmeal. Devil Wears Prada. IDEN. I almost like it. Plano, Texas. Plate, no. It's really fixated on that X being there for that set. Sure. Tile. Bob Iger. I get around. Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of see what shows up where and kind of start paying attention. Models. Well, right now there's really nothing that I'm crazy about. Oh, pieces, interesting. Q in, mutate, Acer, and arrow. Kind of. I don't like TESO, but trying to think of what else I can put there manually that would help out. See, again, the thing about exert there that was good is that it ended in the T, which then you have an ST at the end of the four-letter word where TESO is. We don't have to use enact there. That's just what we have right now. Motion, maybe. Corn, so, and it's okay. So, but then you got a lot of other stuff that I don't want. Again, also almost, but I don't like OSSA. Still get Plath, but I don't like either. Matson, Matman, Motrin. Mutton. Now, QN so far has been at least decent. So we might want to just hang on to that part at least. Karen. Qubits. P-base, but yeah. Not really. Yeah, let's stick with QN. Not perfect, but... I mean, we can put another splitter up here because we don't really care. Neil Pert, Mutter, T-Rem, I don't really know. Item. NYSA doesn't. Nothing comes to mind. I'm gonna trim again. Easy peasy. But a bunch of other stuff that's not great. Well, we don't really need the S there. I mean, it's helpful, but it's also could be holding us back a little. PD? It's the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't hate it. I don't know why there could be useful. Let's go with it. Nope. Yeah. Not a big deal. S, G. You can take our little breakers off. Alright. So I can start again. Now we can move back to focusing on this other zone. Still doing the thing in the lower left. Dry eye, free TV, but I don't like orange. Yeah. Let's see. We want something that's going to have start with a vowel, end third, and then another vowel in fourth. So something like aunts, but the problem is I don't want something that's going to end in 5 letters and end in a U. So let's see. And X is asking for trouble with another X. No. It's not terrible. Let's see what my other options are. Probably going to be a lot less. The E's and I's and O's. Max Ernst. He'll show up every so often. Obviously, you can imagine why. If not, inner. Yeah, we might go with Ernst after all. Let's see what else we've got going here. Ounce has the same problem with the U. Ounce donor. Winks, but then ends in an I. Ernst might be the one. And again, it's doing everything is kind of just going off of feel. So let's see. Not best stuff ever, but if we accept that that's going to be UND. Let's see what our options are. Undecent, not really. Undelete. Under eat, let's try. And then you got EGG. Well, you could do G there. Not the worst thing ever. Elon, leeches, sine wave, arena. That's not bad. Anyhow, let's just make some more cuts here. See what else you've got that fits in this. You can do fire axe. No, but you do need something that's going to go with the T. So maybe TV there is the best thing to do. And they do merit. Leecher is not the best thing ever, but it's okay. And already we've got a lot of stuff kind of done. You know, you got up here, got some zones still to work with, but obviously they're much less going all over the place, and we can kind of really go through them one by one. Well, this one's the biggest one, probably the most constrained. So let's see what we've got here. We'll profess. I don't like a Paul, or okay pals, kind of funny. Okay pal, Norse. I don't know what coot is. If we had something better than coot there, that'd be like, I'd like it, but Professor and OK Pal might end up working, but Opie and Anthony, Karl Marx, Pervy, nothing. On rye. Sepal is part of a plant. Papal, maybe. Email's not great though. You know, usually if you think about pirates saying I sir, it's A-Y-E, I'd imagine. So you're gonna spell it to somebody. Vocal, maybe. Rose, Dante. Vade is weird. And you could change the V to an L and make local. Not terrible. Might come back to it with confess. And again, it's kind of just circling through a couple of other things that would be up there. Now, Opal. Oral. Give a dog a bone, but Vade isn't again. Mi gente. Al dente. I mean, the one constant so far has been selfie, so it's probably doing that word first. I gotta confess. You know. L blank D. And that's being O. But O blank E doesn't really help a lot. Because I don't think we're doing ozone. Cash was interesting. Oh, can he? Place, oral, confess. Let's see. You don't really want an A there. When it goes away, it's that. And Genomone, maybe. Might help out. Let's just see what we get if we do Geno. selfie and confess. It probably won't work out, but again, I'm going to find out. All right, so much less space to work with, much less stuff. So we have 59 things that it found that works. Decal and enol, it's the air is it's going. So on air is kind of what we were thinking, but doesn't really work out great. On air on me, you don't kind of reuse that. On one has the same enol problem. Roman numerals you want to try to stay away from. Not really. Yeah, the OL doesn't end up working as well as great as we thought. Mostly because just of the way the vowels and the consonants pan out. So let's keep selfie. Odal, onal, odal, opal. Not really. Very lead. Abode, obal, erode. Yeah, so there was one that has Z in it, but not great. Whole bunch with DAE aren't helping. And this is just kind of how it is. Ural Mountains, Dougal. And the same problem with oral though. Just get a D in front instead of the L or the V, which is okay. Actually, and sometimes it doesn't do the right letters, but if I do this, I get Miami-Dade County, Ducal involving like a Duke, Ural Mountains, Dante. Yeah, it's not bad. So again, it's basically just what you like that fits where you go. This one's a little more constrained than I thought it would be, but I guess the problem is really that these two up here are going to have to probably be two vowels outside of something. So AI could be something like ain't. You can see what we get if we have ain't there. Because, you know, you could do like one acronym like RTE for root or STE for sweet, going down for 4 down. Every so often it's okay. EA. You got a few options. You got LE. You got to think about again. You got to think about every part of it. Earn could be okay. Let's see what we give with earn. Maybe instead of that way, we should do earn down. Because we're kind of running into the same problem. But the R here is already here. So we do earn here, we kind of end up with the same thing. We have a little more freedom. I don't like UAir. I don't like Oz. I don't like all that. I don't like anything that's going AA, so we'll just move past all those. Oath, maybe. Sofa. Oath, I'm thinking will probably pan out for us eventually. Kind of. Assess. So again, just kind of moving through things, you kind of just come up with your own stuff. So we take oath here, and then we make it oats, and we decide that this is where we're going to be okay with our one compass direction. Then we have plenty of stuff. And again, there's only 4 letters here, so there's only so many things that could show up. Aten as like an old religious figure is not terrible, but again, just kind of for the sake of moving on, we'll move on. But as you can see, the process is fairly simple. If I wanted to save now, I'd save now. Alright, so we're almost done, but I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and finish that out and do some clues. So I'll leave you with some tunes for a bit, and I'll be right back. I'm back, by the way. I'm just setting up our next listening. Again, just little things with programs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to at least play the last song off the album. Okay. Now that I'm on the last song on the album, we can cue up the next thing we want to listen to. Make sure it's going to work properly. It is. Fantastic. Alright, so let's see what we have so far in the word list. And let's take the privacy barrier off. Alright, doing pretty good. Let's check the similar words scenario here. So again, we have our whole bunch of E's that we know are going to happen. Karen Arena, Arnie. Maybe we should reappraise the bottom middle zone. Ease in and Q in is a little suspect, but not too bearable. Week and a week is no big deal. Again, it's just looking for any occurrence of the same 3 letters in a row. I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do with those. Alright, again, for some reason it just the autofill will just jump to some previous fill of some sort. So let's work on more statistics. Similar. Yeah, we're good so far. Again, we're not being super stringent about all this because this is not going to be a puzzle I'm going to be wrapping up and sending off to anybody. So it's okay. We'll change some stuff down here just because, but shouldn't be too much of a big deal to fix up. I want 5 a.m. to stay. You put care or core there, or cure. I don't need this to be. That could be again. That could be leached or leeches, depending on what we need. So let's autofill this area again and see what we get. It's just interesting. If we did a Cella, but then there's something really with TC. Eureka Arena. Earns, I hate. Well, that earns is okay. Okay, let's go with that. Again, a few here and there, again, from the guidelines. You don't want it to be all over the place, but one try, TRI, one try prefix here or there is okay. You know, just be decent about it. Be reasonable. Alright, so then we just basically have these other corners. Double check the word list one more time. Make sure there's nothing that I really can't stand. Miami-Dade. Not bad. It's okay. Fine with it. Everything there so far I'm totally fine with. And again, they're all mixed cases just because there's some that we've been typing hand by hand and some that have been from the list. We'll fix all that later. We'll make it look nicer in a little while. Let's just focus on these corners. Oh, the other thing is, let's see, before we go into that proper, let's see what letters we haven't used yet. Alright, so again, we were good that we got a lot of X's in, but now it's the three that usually cause problems are J, Q, and Z. So if we can figure out a way to get those in, we'll be super. Because again, it's just kind of, they recommend that using odd letters is a good way to diversify the words that you end up with. But for the most part, it's not really completely necessary, and usually most will leave out one or two. But it's a good way to coax people into being reasonable. So we could do, again, because we have 3 zones, we could kind of try to shove one in each one somewhere. Because again, we have a lot of leeway for how words begin. So if I put like a J up here, it'd probably end up okay if I did like Java or Jive or something. Q would be weird just because we kind of run into problems. But we could do like quiz and aqua, and then be a Z here, which wouldn't be great. But if I did put a Z here, what would my options be? Yeah, see? Not the worst thing ever. Let's just see what happens. We said that, and that'll have to be aqua. Alma mater, but I don't know what a lunt is. Mitt Romney. I don't like a zoo, so we're just going to kind of hold the right book key until it goes away. Because again, it's depending on what word list you use. This one has tons of things. If I go back to default, it might have nothing. And I can switch what I'm using anytime I want. So I want to try back to the very... Yeah, see? Nothing. Sometimes I also use... So QXW also came with its own word list. And I try to use that one sometimes. But it's got its own problems. Mostly because I think it's probably British in origin. Alright, so we had some, let's see. But nothing great. Again, this was just for shits and giggles. And we could try the Q up top, but then we'd have to have words starting with U and I. Let's just see what happens. Again, we're having fun. Yeah, see that, again, problem. You want something that's gonna... Alright, so... Let's try that and that. Let's go back to Peter's list. Again, it's just it's doing that because it's showing up in the middle of my screen, but I'm not showing you my whole screen. I have a whole bunch of stuff open off to the side where I'm not letting you see it. See, AC/DC could work. Ulva is not fantastic. Oh, there you go. AC/DC, Cult, all in like that, and the beater. I could relate back to the egg clue that's later. Obviously, there are some things it doesn't check for, like that downward, but we don't need it. So, Cult, Ulna, and beater. AC/DC, Ulna, and beater is our best option so far. UCLA isn't terrible, but I don't like Isle, or Ice, or Alec. ASSC isn't great. We're probably going to end up going with that. Seems like. Because again, anything where you can get away with not having quite so many vowels or consonants, especially when you're starting something like up here, it helps. Oh. Amounts. No, I don't like anything up for a bet. Maybe. I mean, that's kind of getting really desperate to get all those letters in one corner. But I'm okay. I think we got something very useful with Cult and Ulna. Achtung. Again, it's really what you're comfortable with for the most part when it's your turn to do stuff. So we'll do AC/DC, Ulnas, and an egg beater. Alright, so now we've got the Q and the Z down, and we just have to figure out some place where we can get away with putting a J. Can't really do it there. We might have to let the J go. Just cause. Might be better in the long run. Is there anywhere that I could shove it that would just replace something else? Not really. I have a whole bunch of X's. I think we're good. Now let's switch back to, so switching back to default, because again, the benefit of a smaller word list is generally you're going to have less words that you're going to hate, because it's been a little more strict with everything. So, I don't like having, we could do that. We could do Adam as a proper name. Next to Levi is a little weird. And Labs is kind of lame. But again, it's kind of just what you're up to. We don't want 5, because it's going to be a repeat of 5 a.m. File should be okay. We wanted to leave file where it is. Eros is terrible. It's one of those words that you, again, it's not really, again, it's like Eros I'm okay with, because at least it's the name of a goddess, and you can work with that. Lego, Trot, Fist, Adar isn't really anything to me. And again, if it's something to you, and you're the person writing it, then you can keep it. Tyke, maybe. I don't know. Idea dead. Well, idea dead only. Fido, Aiden, no. Yeah, the A there is what's really kind of messing with us for the bit. Okay, that's not bad. In lieu of Ides of March, Pert, Flip, Aid, Lear, Lust. We could go with that, but let's keep looking. Odes, you see ode or odes all the time. Arab around I isn't using a lot. Ord is like an ord is like a crumb, but that's again one of those crosswordese words that you don't want to deal with. It was okay. I know they're a tribe, but I couldn't place them on the globe off the top of my head. Inks, ales, Lulass, and not great. Oleo is again one of those words you see all the time. I can't remember what that one is. I think one of them is basically like a folio for the most part, or like a satchel of some kind. But again, it's one of those words you just, it helps a lot because of things. But also, again, if you need something where it's oh blank blank oh, I would personally go for like Oreo, because people know what that cookie is. So let's try that. Let's see what we get. Should get some stuff. Yep. It's interesting. Liar and Lear and Lone. Leap type. I'm not super happy with, just because I've been ending up there a lot. Fold. Fold and leap. Dale, but I only. It's alright. Again, it's kind of, a lot of it just boils down to feeling. So I typically leave it and not fix ourselves with that. So this gives this, again, the X there is going to be causing a lot of stuff. So you can pick kind of now what we want to use there. Let's see if we can get anything with that exit. Apps, not really. Spec is okay. Yeah. No, we didn't end up using ESP in the top left, so it's free there. I'm okay with that. Again, there's a lot you can do with Polo. A lot you can do with Dial. Auto is multilingual. Edo Japan. Let's go with it. I like having Army there. see what else we can get with the army there. Oreo, almond, liar, foot, Oman is okay. So right now, so feel, limes, Emmy, lies, again. That's not bad. You didn't really resort to Erie yet. But again, Lake Erie is one of those things that, again, is going to show up constantly because it's useful to have something with, it's 4 letters long, uses 3 vowels, and they're E-I, 2 E's and an I. It happens. Alright, so that's it. That makes us done. Now we just go through and double check our work. Make sure we like all the words and there's nothing too similar. All right. So again, when you're looking for things that are considered to be similar to each other, and you're not counting things where that's the theme that you're going with to begin with, you basically just want to make sure that they don't have the same root. So sine and dine are fine. Because again, like a sine wave versus the act of eating have nothing to do with each other. Ease in and Q in, even though it's only checking for 3 letters, it's a little iffy, but depending on who you're editing or who you're trying to sell to, they might care, they might not. I just realized there was lays there, which I'm not super happy with. Maybe we can go back and change it, but it seems like for the most part everything else is okay. We got some fun stuff in there, like selfie. They like things that are recent. Lies stinks. Load stinks. Lose is okay. Alga stinks, though. And again, this is just personal opinion. Aloe is okay, but it's used everywhere, and I hate oleo. A lot of things can fit there, but again, we don't care about that. We have enough freedom in this zone that we don't need that. A Lee is another one of those that show up all the time, and again, it's the last time you used a Lee when talking about sailing in your everyday life. Again, knowing a word and feeling like it's an okay word to leave in there is different things. Oboe is interesting, but oboe, aloe, lens, foal. Well, we have foals already, so that would be terrible. So we can't do that. Foes, able, lose, leak like an onion. Oboe, else, and seek. Okay. Again, a lot of the main thing is really just to kind of go with stuff that'll fit your theme. Once you've got your theme in, the rest of the fill is usually not terribly important. At least unless you're like really going for something. And obviously, the more theme words you're trying to fit in, the more constrictions you have to work around. So by only using 4 theme clues and picking the squares as carefully as we did, it really was not that much work at all. And also it helps to have software to do this, to do the annoying part for you. So again, whenever you watch all those, oh, here's how I make a crossword things, they're right, but there's also things they're not telling you. So let's just check our word list one more time for similarities, and then we can go into the clue section. I'd say in general that we kind of stuck to the guidelines, kind of kept everything going. A lot of eeks. Yeah, having those two that don't meet each other, a week and eek there, it's alright. It's not fantastic, but it's okay. I wouldn't want to do 3 E's in a row, even though that's a clue that I've used once before, just for like a wide shoe. But again, the fact that I've got 2 that have the same ending, and they're meeting each other on the same letter, it's not super. Again, there's all sorts of just general opinions about what counts as elegance. You know, honestly, I don't think we used a lot of proper names. That's what we said before. Let's see how this pans out. Sorry, wrong prompt. And if you try to autofill when everything's filled, it doesn't do anything. Under eat, PD, and beater. Again, there's only one thing that's actually about eating. Selfie and Lee Enfield are fine. C's and E's in, mast and a stir, Ides and aid. Yeah, this is fine. Again, depending on who you're talking to, two things that are blank in are maybe a little awkward, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. And it happened to be, A, it happened to be useful, and B, we're not being super 100% serious about this, but this is okay. This is not terrible. And again, if someone was like, oh, I like this, but there's a whole bunch of stuff, it's like, I'd like this a little different. No, ease in is much more structurally necessary. You can like change Q in to Q in and then do something else over here, even if it would be a little tricky. Alright, so effectively we're done with part 1 here. We have all the words in place. We're happy with all of them for the most part. So the harder and shorter part of this is done. We did it. Now for the easier but much longer part, which is actually writing the clues. And I'll slide that window into view. That's right. For every single thing, we have to write a clue. I don't know why that one was red. Because it should still be mutiny in that slot. Oh, we didn't. Oh, that's right. We changed it to muting. Right. Again, it'll check for things where they want everything to match up. So we'll just put muting there. All right. So again, this is just a stupid formatting thing. Right. Again, this goes back to the rule about no being longer than 5, and we'll probably refer back to the Beatles song 8 Days a Week. Alma, Anne is a name, Mount Etna, Beater, the movie Tron, Miami-Dade County. This example, the Ural Mountains, mast of a ship, Q in, confess, outtake as a blooper, awake, the idiot behind the Tesla company, capitalize, lowercase, the infield, New York, New York. Do some reference to Sweeps Week. E3 Expo. I think we can capitalize or uncapitalize as we decide what we want to be referring to as we go. That's in all uppercase because it's the direction. Phantasms, Owen Wilson. Aerates, legs, skybox. Aqua, Cult. Dinosaur, saw mouse. Enact, a selfie. Retool, relating to a Duke. Had an Inferno. He's in. You know, I'm trying to think of, like, I think some scotches are described as peaty. Like in compare to. thing. So this is a name. 5 a.m. G flip a Lear lusts. Lowercase. Earns exit spat polo. Again, for some reason it knows what the format it should look like, but it doesn't go right from that to the what to display on the list. And Edo Japan. So everything, we haven't started writing anything yet. But now that we go back to the word list, everything is formatted the way we're going to look at it. I never really checked how good it is at handling Unicode. Either of the program, really. We could find out very easily. But I'd say we're pretty much ready to run. Alright, so we could we could call it here if we really wanted to, and do a whole bunch of clue writing next time. I could leave you with the word list and let other people write the clues, and then we can go over the rest of it. Or we could just do it now. What would you prefer? That's right. I'm asking you, the audience. While I take a drink of seltzer. Again, stat screens are nice. How many across, how many down? Not really super important, but non-interlocking, 0. That's exactly what we want to see. Incomplete means we're done. Unwritten clues, obviously we're going to make that go down to 0. You haven't typed any words in the clues yet. Mean life is usually a ballpark of difficulty. No 2-letter words, good. No repeated words, good. Nothing started with being given. Blocks and letters are what we used. Void would be if we didn't want anything there to be considered being there at all. Sometimes you have puzzles where the clues are embedded inside the grid itself. We didn't do that. Usually your distribution will look like this. Sometimes you'll have a lot more 3s or 4s depending on how everything got cut up, but this is about standard. And again, 3s are usually your glue for the most part. If you have acronyms or really weird stuff that you're going to have to shove in, usually that's where it ends up getting shoved in. And we checked all those. If we had... Wow, this is interesting. So obviously there's also... You want to make sure you don't accidentally put any bad words in. So you have a blacklist of everything that you want to make sure you do not include. Most of the time, the only thing that shows up is you'll have an O next to an H somewhere in any direction, either orthogonally or diagonally. And so you'll see a bunch of Ho's show up. Maybe a poo every now and again. If you do like an oop word, like loop. But for the first time in a long time, this is completely blank. And letter frequency, mostly E's, a lot of A's. A little bit of not again, it's not quite its own short glue, but, a couple of Y's, multiple X's, got a Z in, got a W in there somewhere. It goes where? Top mid. Got a Q, got a V, good stuff. So I kind of just jump back and forth depending on what word list I want to use, what method of searching I want to use, or how I want to explore what my options are. And having both available to me is really what helps. QXW is free, by the way. Obviously, you don't have quite the same amount of resources, and you're kind of stuck a bit once you're finished putting the letters in, because it doesn't really have much else. But you have a lot of stuff that you can do with it. Like, there's no clue editing in this one, but you can get your grid set up at least. Maybe you can. Nah. Again, QXW is very good, and it's also free. So if you wanted to really like start messing with stuff, QXW is probably the best thing to do. And if you really wanted to like start thinking, oh, I'm getting good at this, I should start actually writing the clues out and do a whole bunch of stuff, then you'd probably want to pay the license, or at least start the trial for this. There's a whole bunch of stuff they can do. As you can see, I've got other stuff that I'm working on that I'm not showing, because I'm trying to sell them to people. You can set different symmetries if you want. You can lock things. I can select freely. Let's select all the blocks. Hit Alt-Enter. And let's make all the blocks fuchsia. Ta-da! So the only thing about doing that is that it doesn't technically count as something I can undo. If I try to undo something, the last thing it undid was probably a letter I changed somewhere. So I probably shouldn't have done that. Because for some reason, redo is not included. Alright. Let's see, we did lieu in lieu of... Ides of March, and it was flip and pert like the shampoo. Yes. Yeah, but I can just select them all again. And select the letter squares. Just make this absolutely hideous. The text will be... Let's see, the background fill will be... dark green, and the text will be yellow. Oh yeah! Yeah, different thing. So again, I hit again. There are some hotkeys that I'm not really super used to even now. But I still like on reflex try to select everything with Control A, and it opens up auto finding words that would fit in a thing, but because it's all filled, there's only one word that has all 4 out of 4 letters filled with SEAS, and surprise enough, that's C's. Right, then default, and big surprise default. And if you really wanted to like do something like that, you could do something. Yeah, I can open a file. Yeah, no. Not for you to see. I'm gonna do that over here. But I have a back burner of stuff that I'm not really doing anything with. Let's see. Yeah, see? Whatever you want to do, you can basically do. So, for example, this one I didn't use anything at all. I set these 2 colors to be this, to have letters, and if it's hard red like some of the rest of it, there's not supposed to be a letter there at all. But at least in the main heart, and in all the zones, those are all Crossword valid zones of the grid, at least. And if I wanted to autofill, I could just autofill if I really cared or didn't. I don't know what a nuisance value is, but you know. You do what you feel. Close just that window. Do not save. And again, you can do any size grid. And again, because of that, you can include those void squares and turn on or off anything you want. But, you know, it's just kind of what it is. What else have we not really explored? And can find anagrams tree if you really need to. Talked about managing that. If we decided we wanted the axes to change for whatever reason, we can just flip the whole grid. We can transpose it along the diagonal. And then we do it again. We could save this grid to our grid library if we really wanted to, but I never really bothered with that. Dealing with the words themselves. Looking up definitions in Word Web. If you're someone who's really like gung-ho about not reusing words across your puzzles, you can decrease their scores so they don't show up as often when you're trying to fill the next one. And, just general options, your window options, help, my license number in case you want to steal it, no. But that's pretty much it. And again, we could go on to actually writing the clues if we really wanted to, or we could just kind of call it there. That's kind of, again, while talking it through and being a little lenient about what I'm willing to accept in the grid and what I'm not. That's about how long it takes. Coming up with an idea that would actually be interesting is probably the hardest part. Once you do that, it's just kind of a matter of just putting in the work and letting the computer do some work. Not really much else to it. Enjoying some nice downtempo. So, again, I'm kind of in the mood to call it here for the most part, just so we can kind of split things up. The clue writing can take a little while depending on how into it you get. So, based on that, I think what we should do is, I will end it here, but what I'll do is, I'm trying to think of the best way to have something that shows all of it. I know what I can do. I can do export. That's fine. I don't care about unwritten clues right now. Alright, so, again, the other thing nice about CC10 is you have a lot of options for how you want to send everything out. Rich text, plain text, PDF, as a picture, something that'll work in a cross light that you might already use. No, but we're just going to do plain text, no puzzle, just the answers. Don't really care about any of this right now. We don't want the clues with the answers. Default. So they'll stay as I formatted them. I can just copy that to a clipboard. And behold, here is every answer that we've chosen to include in the grid. Let's even change the font, just for now. A little too big. There we go. That's good. And basically with that, give ourselves a little extra width. Perfect. With that, we basically have everything we need. Again, we can make changes as we go. They don't have to stay the same case as far as the definition that we're using. If we wanted to make little tweaks here and there, like if we didn't like Tron, we went back. We wanted to make this exact somehow, we could kind of jump back through a whole bunch of stuff, but as it is, I think it's probably going to leave everything more or less as it is. But again, we'll do the hard part of checking everything and making sure we're using the proper normal spellings for everything. Don't have... Because again, I've had times where it's like, oh crap, I don't want to really use that after all. Then I have to go back. It happens. But this has been, like, even... I'd say this has been surprisingly straightforward. Simple. I'll save it all. I know what I'll do. There we go. And nothing important showed there. Yeah, good. Keep all that off screen. Do you have anything that you'd like to save this file as for now? Or do you want to keep going, or what? We can do the clue writing part now or next time or whatever. I'd be happy to do it now. Just say anything at all. I'm just going to call it Stream Puzzle for now. And I'll save it to my Crosswords folder. Oh, hang on. I'm saving as the wrong thing. Oh, that's why. Because that's why it wasn't showing up. I was saving the text file, not the puzzle file. Maybe I'm a little more tired than I thought I was. Not for you to see. I'll just do this. Let's think of what we want. Again, we have to come up with a title too, so let's see. It's about E3, so... What would we call it? What would be a funny name to use, considering we have 3 E's in a row? It's about the E3 Expo. And we could, again, stupid pun like Game Face. Be fine. And it saves as its own proprietary save file, .ccw. I need a Stream Puzzle just so I know which one it is. Game Face. And unmodified, it lets you know when you've made a change that you need to save or you don't need to save. So, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to write clues, or do you want to take some time and make up your own and we can call it that? That way we've at least felt like somebody else has done something, rather than just watching me do it. Ugh. You know what? I think we'll call it in a couple minutes. I'll just show off some more stuff and we'll do the clues next time. Because A, we're almost all the way through Chill Out, and B, I can just show off some stuff and just kind of wrap it up. So let's just show off what QXW can do. So let's see. Let's do a hex grid. So this one, when it says lights, it's basically just kind of saying, in reference to the direction that it's assuming the words are going to go. So straight across, so they meet. No, I even tried to keep the... Yeah, jeez. So this one has 3 different... Again, hexagons, you have 3 directions to head in. Puzzles like this, I think, would be like a rose garden is one, but I think those might be cut into triangles, depending. And grid properties, horizontal lights instead. Blech. Circular. Everything in wedges. Aerates backwards is set area. That's a new palindrome. See, we did learn something today. Join left and right edges, it goes back to being a grid, but it considers this to be kind of wrapped around a cylinder. So it can handle, this one can handle things where you're trying to wrap your letters around. Top and bottom, join them with a flip, like a Mobius strip. Join them as a torus, where everything top and bottom matches. Oh. Yeah, QXW is pretty powerful in certain ways. But it's not quite professional grade. But there are a lot of things it can do. So we'll close it for now. That's fine. I'm not going to save it. Here are words. Made it full screen. Sorry. If you want to do something like a rebus puzzle, that's an option also. If I Alt-Enter and go into this, I have a lot more power about what I put in. So for example, if I wanted this to be anything I wanted, I could change what's actually in it versus what's displayed. So if I wanted to do a rebus puzzle that was themed around the word down, but the single letter answer that it would accept when I'm being processed an answer, I could just put the letter D. See? So on my answer key, it knows that it's going to be down, but the solution, it's also fine with expecting a D to be there when somebody puts it in their puzzle software. So the edit mode, and we have a chance to look at what it'll look like when someone is first trying to solve it. And then solution printout, you know, good stuff. Yeah. I'm happy with what we did though. I like the layout of the grid. Kind of interesting. Kind of cut up this way. Bit unusual. Would have been nice if we could have skipped these, because then it would have been very interesting visually, but yeah, you know, it happens. Like you can almost make it look like the letter E, but not quite. But I guess it's kind of it being a 9 section. Change case. Replacing letters. I've never tried inserting an image file. Interesting. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot. And I think for the purpose of doing more things with this puzzle that we're not really going to shop around or anything, coming down to the clues will just be kind of going into stuff. And I'll show you a couple other things. So sometimes the dictionaries I have aren't quite enough. So I've got to use some other things. So for example, on my real Google account, I have some pages. I have a sheet that's a lot like this, where I keep all my kind of on-hold ideas. If something is really intricate or I get a lot of good answers for something, I'll give it its own new tab. But, you know, Like, if I came up with another idea, it'd be B. I'd usually do like A and 99, just in case if I change. I include this just, I like including rows just whenever I do spreadsheets, just so if I have to change the order of the rows for whatever reason, I can always just make it come back to the original. And I do B1, B3, and I just have all these filled with a easy formula where it'll count the number of characters on there. So, poop, 4. Again, it's if I left other things typed the way I did, those, again, if I typed in everything as I did there, like E3 Expo, it's going to show 12. Because it's counting the brackets, but I don't really worry about it too much because I know what I'm looking for. So I have that, and a couple of other things. So this is just a different puzzle altogether. But there are other resources that I'd say I use for the most part. The two major ones, like, OneLook isn't really much of a secret. Like, I've watched other videos where the person who's a professional crossword constructor says, oh yeah, I use OneLook all the time. You know, you've got syntax, you can look for whatever you want. If I want phrases that start with the word fuck, there you go. Sort by commonness. More use. Fuck a duck. I'm not 100% how the number of dictionaries in which it's found. No. I don't know how many dictionaries OneLook. Well, but again, it's kind of like the kayak of dictionary searches. But, you know, it's okay. Sometimes if I'm really in a pinch, I'll use something like, let's see. See, like cultural references, like a Koopa. If I wanted to do like a Mario-themed puzzle for whatever bizarre reason. It does not know what a Koopa is. It knows what a Kappa is. Not a Koopa. Meanwhile, there's another site called Nutrimatic. Has its own syntax, but for the most part, it's generally regex expressions for the most part. Again, they have their own usage guide and source code and everything. And they have their example tabs, like, for example, find me a word that has A, E, I, U, and Y in that order, and are surround only those are the only vowels or vowel-like letters it uses, and everything else is a consonant. And you can put however many consonants you want in between all of those. Facetiously, only thing. 8, 6, 7, and then 4 numbers. You have other options, but obviously the Jenny's song will show up first. So, for example, if I had a word that it's like, okay, I want something... This is probably what I would use more if I was in the phase where I was still looking for things that fit a theme. So, if I wanted something... Let's see. It's kind of a cliche, but let's say that I wanted something where the letters of the word peach, like I have like mixed, like trail mix or something is the joke, and I want stuff that's going to be in a trail mix, the letters mixed up and then hidden inside some other word. Then I could do A+, which means one or more letter, an anagram of the word raisin, and then one or more letters on the other side. There you go. Again, it won't always scramble them, but, you know, fundraising. Raisin is right in there. And this is like more web-based. So, for example, the ARIA singles chart. I think that's Australia. But there are the letters I'm looking for. California is something. Paris in the spring. Drains into... You get it. it's pretty powerful. All things said, it's pretty powerful. And then you have other things, like if I'm in the middle of writing clues and I'm really just stuck on something, I might look up something someone has already used. Obviously like that. Fundraising. So this is a cryptic clue, which is a whole different other thing. Explaining this, there's other channels that do this better, like Cracking the Cryptic. Go look them up if you're interested in what British crosswords are like. Totally different story. If anyone ever done fundraising, there you go. So like again, there have references to bake sale, like maybe you want to make a joke about a bake sale, maybe you want to just say charity event. Again, that's the kind of stuff that we're going to do next time. And if I ever need to double check really quickly, I can pull up the specific New York Times specifications. And if your puzzle meets these specs, chances are you'll be fine to submit it anywhere else if you wanted to go to a different newspaper or a different publisher or whatever. And they pay the most. That's no getting around that. If you can make a 21 by 21 and they buy it off of you, you get $1,500. I have not had that happen yet, but I'd like to at some point. That would be very useful for me. But that's pretty much it. I think we're going to call it there for today. I'll leave you with these letters and these words, and leave you to think about things you might want to say for clues. So next time we do part 2, just shout them at me. But I think since the album is over and I don't really have much else to say at the moment, we'll call it there. So thank you very much for joining me. We'll come and do this again next time. And we'll finish up, we'll write the clues, and then we'll have a finished crossword, and then you'll know what it's like. The end. Thank you very much for joining me, and good night.